What's really happening in the real estate market? We're going to talk about that right now. So it's official. The first month has passed after the foreign buyer ban set by the federal government. Now, despite this, sales and home prices have not plummeted like a lot of experts and analysts thought they would. And the main reason for this happening is because there's a lot less homes available, even compared to February of 2022, which was the peak of the real estate market. Okay, now, if you are currently living in Toronto or you know someone that lives in Toronto, please ensure that they fill out the occupancy forms. Okay, essentially what this is that the city of Toronto wants to ensure that homes are not being vacant for more than 6 months. Okay, and if you don't fill this out before end of February, you will be getting a fine of about $250. Plus, there's going to be a 1.25% interest the first day of default. On another note, the Bank of Canada has raised rates by 25 basis points, which is the 8th consecutive interest rate hike. Okay, now the good news is that the inflation has come down to 6.3% in December from 8.1% in June. And it is expected that inflation will continue to come down. Okay, now the reason why is that they're expecting that it's going to be less foreign demand for Canadian products, which will allow Canadian supply chains to catch up. Now, inflation is expected to drop to 3% this year, and next year it's going to be dropping down to 2% in 2024, which is their ideal target. And if this happens, they're not going to raise interest rates again. Now, the second note that we should talk about is the provincial governments with Bill 23. Essentially, it's the More Homes Built Faster Act by the Ford government. And essentially what this means is it allows developers to waive the development charges, but this causes municipalities all over Toronto to lose $5 billion. Now, this is considerably a lot less of taxes that they're collecting, and so they need to come up with this shortfall in other ways. And what they're all going to be doing is to raise property taxes. Now, East Gwillimbury is going to be hit hardest, is what analysts expect, which is about 100%. Okay, Toronto and Aurora is going to be about 6%. Richmond Hill hasn't come out with a number yet, but it is expected that they lose $330 million over 10 years. And in Vaughan, it's going to be anywhere from $169 million to $175 million. Okay, so they may raise property taxes by 77 to about 88% if they don't come up with revenue in other ways. Okay, Markham is going to be about 6.4%, but it hasn't been finalized yet. Okay, so if you have any other questions, please let me know. But for now, let's dive right into the numbers. Let's go. So looking at the Aurora real estate figures, we can tell that the detached homes have the most influence on the market overall. So we're going to be focusing more on that type of home. If you want to talk about any other types of home, please let me know and we can have a discussion, all right? So we can see that back in February, there was an all-time high of 77 transactions. And last month, there's 24 transactions. So what that really means then is that there are about 69% less transactions that happened from the peak. But if you compare on a month-to-month basis, it actually went up by 4%. Now, if you look at the number of active listings, okay, you can see that the number of homes have continued to fluctuate. In February, there were about 78 homes that were available, and now there were 55 homes. Okay, but if you compare on a month-to-month basis, right, it still went up. So there's more selection on the short term. But if you compare it to pre-pandemic numbers of January 2020, you can see that there's 95 homes that were available. Okay, So the market is starting to continue to change, but there isn't a lot more listings now than they were in the past. Okay, as a homeowner, you do not want to sell your home when everyone else is selling. Okay, because what happens then is obviously the prices go down. All right, I always tell my buying clients never get attached to one particular property because that really affects my negotiating. Okay, so let's go down to the actual average sale prices of these transactions. Focusing on the blue, okay, I wouldn't really focus anything on the condo townhouses like the green. You might be asking, Alex, why did it go up so much? Well, in reality, it only happened one transaction. So very likely that it was fully renovated and it's really anomaly. So I would really ignore that, okay? Let's just focus more on the detaches because that is the more stronger indicator of the overall type market. So we can see here that it actually went up in price for detaches. Okay, so it went up from 1.4 to 1.67, okay, on a month-to-month basis, right? So it actually went up by, let's see, 19%, okay, in one single month. Okay, that's 24 transactions, by the way. It wasn't just a one-off like the condo townhouse. Now, the prices have started to come down from the all-time high of 1.9 million. But again, those interest rates back then was 0.25 and essentially money was free. Okay, this is now we are back in reality. Okay, that is very unrealistic. Now, if we look at the actual, the days on market, how long it is taking homeowners to sell their homes, and we can see that it just took one additional day to sell a home compared to a month-to-month basis. And if you compare it to actually pre-pandemic figures, it took 53 days to sell a detached home in Aurora. Okay, that was only like 4 years ago, by the way. Okay, so you can see that there is a higher demand to live in Aurora. Now, last but definitely not least, we want to talk about the type of market. Okay, so here's what people are getting confused about, even including realtors. Okay, it is still a seller's market for detached homes. Buyers here are thinking that it is 2008 and it is time to go shopping and negotiate very hard, but in reality, that's not the case. Okay, anything from 0 to 5 is actually a seller's market. From 5 to 6 is a balanced market, and from 6 to 12, it is really more of a buyer's market. So you can still see here that it's 2.29 for detached homes in Aurora, and so sellers still have the negotiating power. All right. Now, on the other hand, if you're looking at condo apartments, then that's a completely different story. But again, though, we're focusing more on detached homes in Aurora because there are more transactions, and it's heavily influencing the Aurora market overall for detaches. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll be happy to help. If you find this video useful, please share it, like it, subscribe. Really appreciate it. Talk soon. Bye-bye.